Suresh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Suresh.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, one and all. So, guys, as discussed, we are going to start with our PMGM module discussions from today, where today's agenda will be to first get introduced with this module of PMGM, understand your various components that are part of it, the different navigations that we come across, all that. And from tomorrow's session, we'll get into the regular configurations. Okay. And to start with that, guys, so this PMGM as a module, which is all about the performance and goal management, is basically comprising of 5 internal components in it, like goal management, performance management, 360-degree evaluations. Like this, it's a mixture of around 5 components. Let me list down them. Give me a moment. Yeah. So under the PMGM, we start with goal management. Next, we have performance management. Next, you have calibration. Next, 360-degree evaluations. And the final one is continuous performance management. This way. These are the 5 components in it. So with all this is where the PMGM module functions, in which the first 2, goal management and performance management, are the core part of it. Calibration, 360, and continuous performance management is something that depends upon the client's requirement and their interest of implementation, whether to use it or not, they decide it. Okay, so why do we use all this? Why do we use all this as a context? So in any company, guys, having a performance management process is minimum mandatory, because whether you give the annual increments or not, promotions or not, definitely evaluating the employee performance is a minimum thing that every company does. Okay, so that is a mandatory module that every company will definitely implement. The way how Employee Central we see the importance that the employee hiring and all will be part of it. Similar way, this is also something every company will definitely implement, performance management. And in 2002, when SuccessFactors has been launched in the US market, PMGM is the first module they started with. Later on, all these other 10 modules got added slowly, one after the other. But first thing is only the PMGM module. And even in the number of implementations count that you see, say example, EC, how many customers we have, PMGM, how many customers we have, recruitment, like that. If you see, PMGM is the module that has a large number of projects. Highest number of implementations are for PMGM. But there are people who don't use other modules and using the PMGM and SuccessFactors. Without EC, only PMGM who are using also are more. So the overall number of count, PMGM has a huge demand. So now the purpose why do we use this, as we know, it's about evaluations to understand the employee's performance. How does it actually happen in a company is starting with the goals process. So every company will set some goals and targets to all the employees as a part of the goal management. We'll be discussing that. So how do you set the goals and targets to meet the company's requirements and the company's targets? So for each and every individual, there will be some targets that they have to work on. So you might be a person from sales department, you might be a person from finance department. For people of every department, according to their role of job, the different different goals will definitely be allocated. So there can be some goals that come from the management level, some goals that can be given by your manager, some that can be created by yourself, that you want to achieve something. That way, different kinds of ways the goals can be coming to an individual. So there can be 5 goals a year or 10 goals a year. That depends upon the validations that the company can set. They can set like minimum number of goals you have to work this year, maximum number of goals you have to concentrate this year. That way, we can come up with a specific pattern so that every employee in the company will be working on a certain number of goals and work towards the company's targets. Okay. And once you set the goals in the starting of the year, later on, how is the employee progressing on achieving those goals is what a review that can happen. That's what we call it as performance reviews. So that reviews is something we can see quarterly reviews or off yearly, like once in 6 months or monthly. It depends upon the client's choice, the way they want to have it. Majority will be 6 months off yearly. For example, in Indian case, if you see the financial year cycle that we take from April to March, so in the April and May, their goal setting will be done. In July, they do the mid-year review. Again, in March, they do the year-end review. That way, once in 6 months, they do the review. Some companies do quarterly, every 3 months. That depends upon the company's policy. So this way, when you are doing the reviews by the end of the year, what is the goal or the target given to you? How much did you achieve? So example, if it's a salesperson and the target is given to achieve some 2 crores of business, and if he has achieved like 1.6 crore of business in the last 1 year. So for the target given as 2 crores, if you have reached 1.6 crore, so what is the rating to be given? So the company treats it as well achieved, then they give 5 out of 5 rating, or they give 4 out of 5 rating. So that is what a calculation that they can have internally. And the rating scale also can be for some companies 1 to 5, some companies 1 to 10, 1 to 3. It depends upon organization to organization. It's all completely flexible that we can configure the way we want it. So this is what the goals and performance process is all about. The way how you set the goals and targets to the employees and you evaluate their performance and end up with a rating at the end of the year is what the performance and goal management's primary motto will be. And as a part of the performance review process, it's not specific to the goals that are assigned to the employees. SFI also gives you an option to involve competencies as one more parameter. Competencies. That is, the year-end rating what an employee gets is not only about his targets that he has achieved, it's also about the various competencies. Like competencies are like different behavioral aspects. So the way how the employee is executing his day-to-day business activities with different behavioral aspects like communication skills, team management skills, conflict management, being punctual, the quality of delivery that he is giving on various qualities. So these competencies are also evaluated. The time management, being punctual, being as a team player, taking responsibilities. Like this, you have different competencies that can be evaluated. So, as a mixture of both, the goals on the goals, the targets what are given to him, the way how his achievements are, and also on these competencies, how is he behaving with the team members, how is he managing the team, how is he taking the responsibilities. On all these parameters, also the ratings can be there. An average of the overall ratings is what the year-end rating that comes up. Okay, so this is how the performance and goal management will be executed with the goals and competencies coming up with an year-end rating. So that year-end rating is something that will become an input for the next level modules, like compensation management module is one, which will take performance ratings as the basis to decide the yearly promotions, yearly increments, variable pay percentage, how much percentage of variable pay to be given. So all that calculations which happen in a module called compensation management will be dependent on the performance management's rating. So the output of PMGM rating will become the input for the compensation management module later on. And also for another module called succession planning. So succession planning is the module where we nominate successors for the critical positions in the company. So in a module called succession planning, it has the ability to identify what are the critical positions and And for the for the particular critical position that you have, we should be ready with some successors within the organization. So we cannot keep the position vacant suddenly if the person who is supporting that critical position is not able to function in his role due to health conditions or any other different reasons. So we can't wait to recruit somebody from out of the organization. So we should be ready with somebody within the organization who can step into that role and take up that role. That is where a successor to a position should be available, and that's what it happens in a module called succession planning. So for that succession planning module, to identify the next level successors, we need the performance feedbacks of the employees. So people who are doing very good in their role, they have got a top performance in their role as a part of performance management, they will be the successors in the succession planning module. So that way, the output of this PMGM module will become an input for compensation management, for succession management, different modules, guys. Okay, so this is how it works. And then the other areas are like calibration, 360 continuous performance. So calibration is a process to get an understanding. It's all about the way how you will actually, the way you will actually normalize the ratings. Normalize the ratings means the companies can have a policy that people who have got rating 5 out of 5 will get this percentage of increment. People who get 4 out of 5 will have this percentage of increment. That way the companies will can have the internal guidelines. And also in a year, if a company has to give some increments and variable pays, all that, they will definitely have a specific budget allocated based on the company's performance, based on their revenue generated on various aspects. They give a fixed budget, some like 3 crores, some 5 crores, some budget will be allocated. Within that budget, they have to accommodate all the increments or all the variable pays, bonuses, whatever they are going to plan to give. So now in a company, if this year there are more people who have got rating 5 out of 5, example, in a company of 1,000 employees, okay, in a company of 1,000 employees, if you have, if you find there are more than 400 employees who got rating 4 out of 5, in a company of 1,000 employees, if you have found a people more than 400, 5 out of 5, that means 40%, more than 40% people having rating 5 out of 5, the full rating, means the budget for increments to be given to them. So example, the people who have got 5 out of 5 rating are eligible for say 10% rating. For 40% of the organization, if you have to give 10% salary increment, that might not meet the company's budget that they have allocated for that year. So to accommodate the budget that they have for the year, they have to make sure that they are reducing the ratings for few people. So they have to reduce the people who have got 5 rating into 4, who have got 4 into 3. They change that ratings before they finally release the rating to the candidate. The change of ratings is something important. So for that kind of forceful change of ratings to meet some internal guidelines and budgetings is where calibration as a module is what they use, and they change the ratings before they release the ratings to the candidates. Okay, so that is what a calibration as a tool will be helpful for the top management level to check that. This is a high level understanding of the calibration tool requirement. So how will we use that? How will we configure that is something in the upcoming sessions we look at. And another one is 360-degree evaluations. 360-degree evaluations is all about in the normal performance reviews, the feedback about your performance will be every time taken from your higher level management, your reporting manager, your HOD, your HR, all these people to whom you report to. Okay, whereas 360-degree evaluations is something here also your performance is being evaluated, but not only from your higher hierarchy, also the people with whom you are working, your colleagues who are in the same level in your hierarchy. Your colleagues can also give a feedback about your performance. Your subordinates who report to you, your subordinates to whom you are a manager, even they can give a feedback about your performance. And even the people from completely other departments, other locations in the company can also give the feedback. And people out of the company, that is vendors. So with the customers or the vendors with whom you work, they can also give a feedback about you. So that's called the 360 feedback. So how is your interaction with them? How are you coordinating with them? How are you helping them on various aspects? Your subordinates can give a feedback. Your colleagues can give a feedback. Your customers or the clients with whom you work out of the organization, they can give a feedback. All this collectively is called 360-degree evaluations. So that is one more. And in terms of the config activity, 80% will be almost like performance management with slight differences. That's what we will see in the 360-degree evaluations. And the last component is about the continuous performance management. So this is the youngest baby. Continuous performance management is called the youngest one, where we have to say the main gap that is found in the different performance products in the market is avoided with this continuous performance management as a tool. Okay, that is the main gap that we find in different products is in the starting of the year, there is a goal setting process that's happening where employees and managers are discussing and setting the goals. Done. Again, if the review is in mid-year, for 6 months, there is no proper coordination between employees and managers. Again, in the month of July, in the month of September, when the mid-year review is happening, then the managers and employees will again connect with each other. They'll have one-to-one meetings. They discuss. That's it. One more round. Again, they will not speak with each other for 6 months. Again, in the end of the year, in the month of March, they again have a one-to-one discussion. They speak about the progress. So this is actually a gap that is present, that there is no proper communication channels between the employees and the managers in terms of employees to update their progress or managers to check the progress until that particular workflow state arrives. There is a lack of communication within the system, even out of the system, if they might have a one-to-one conversations, but nothing is documented, nothing is a mandated activity. So continuous performance management is one tool that will be opening the channels 365 days. You have a medium 365 days open where you can continuously collaborate. You as a manager can check with your subordinates. Your subordinates can keep you posted with all the updates of each and every activity they are working on with complete visibility. So that is the continuous performance management as a tool that has been introduced in early 2016 or 2017 kind of. And initially it was not there. And from then they have been adding different features into it. And today this has become a most selling point for the PMGM module. Introducing this component of continuous performance management has become a better selling point. So that you will have a place where at any point of time, you can give an update. So you're working on specific activity. So you can post your update to your manager like once in a week or bi-weekly, whenever you want. You can post an update. If your manager is looking for the update, they can give a comment on that activity asking what is the latest status on it. You can reply on it. Okay. So this way you can have different activities that you can record in continuous performance management and track the progress of them. And you can also take a feedback. If you're working on several activities, what does your colleagues think of this activity that you're working? What does your manager think of? You can take a feedback about it. So is there something that they feel that this is something unnecessary activity or it's necessary activity? Or what are the comments from them in terms of how to improve the way we are handling that activity? So all that kind of feedback process is also present under continuous performance management. So these are the 5 different components we have as a part of the performance and goal management module, in which the primary part will be this. The majority of our discussions will be under this. The other 3 areas are like individual components, like 1-2 hours of discussion each it will be done, but the majority will be here. So most of the customers who implement PMGM, these 2 is what they have as a major part. These 3 are something optional. Somebody might use 360, somebody might not use. Somebody might use calibration, somebody might not. It depends upon their requirement. But these are something mandatory that way. So for all these components to work, we have the respective navigations here in the system, where you have the navigation to the goals, where we start the performance management process first of all in any organization with this goal setting. And you have the place for performance, where the performance feedbacks, reviews can take place. Within this performance itself, the 360-degree performance reviews also will be within the same performance folder. And you have one for calibration. For the forceful change of ratings, you have the calibration. And then you have continuous performance and continuous feedback. I was talking about, you can take a feedback about your activities, continuous performance, continuous feedback. Like this, different navigations related to this module of PMGM are all present over here in the module picker. Almost 5 navigations: calibration, continuous feedback, continuous performance, goals, and the performance. Total 5 navigations related to PMGM are present here that we will be seeing one after the other. Any queries till this point, guys? Yeah, the same principle. If you guys have any questions to discuss, you can raise your hand using the Zoom controls that you have. Okay. So guys, now the next point is to start looking at the interfaces. So if you go for these goals, that is the first activity that happens anytime in an organization, to have the goal set. So when you go for this, so either a company follows an April to March cycle, or the company will follow the Jan to December cycle, whatever. So the 12 months is where a performance cycle generally happens, and they can create the goals for that period. And whenever you come into the goals window, it will show you the current year, like 20 March to 2024 goal plan, 2025 goal plan. You can have year wise different goal plans, and you will have an option to create the goals. On the right hand top, you will have the provision to initiate the goal creations, where you can create a new goal, or you can copy a goal from your previous year. Example, last year you have been working on a goal plan. Last year working on a specific goal, and you want to continue that this year as well, so that you can copy that goal from the previous year. When you click on copy from goal plan, it will display the list of other goal plans from where you want to copy. From previous year 2022, you want to copy from 2021, 2020, from which year you want to copy, you can choose the previous year ones. In that, which goal you want to select, you can select it and copy to the current year. So that way we can copy from the previous years, or you can create a new goal of your choice. And we also have a library option, where based on SAP's experience on dealing with multiple customers of different industrial backgrounds, what are the commonly seen performance goals that the employees of different departments regularly set? SF has come up with a predefined library of goals. If you're a person from HR department, what kind of goals you will be generally setting in a year? If you're a person from finance department, if you're a person from what do you say, IT department. So accordingly, person to person, you will have the different goals process that we set. So here, when you go for this library, you will see the different department wise the library is. If you're a person from admin department, finance, HR, IT, like this. We're a person from HR. Within HR, again, we have different functions. People who deal with employee relations, people who deal with training and development, like that. So if you're a person from training and development department in HR, so what kind of a goals the people of this training and development will expect to see? So these are the different goals that they can expect. So if you feel going through this, yeah, this is the one that I'm planning this year. So to increase the average number of training hours per employee, this is what a goal that I'm planning this year. You can directly copy that. You can just select that and you can start copying that goal into your goal plan this year. That way, we have different ways that you can go with the library, or you create a complete new one from your scratch, or you copy from the previous year. Different ways of creating the goals. And if you are okay, the different goals that you set will appear here, guys, on the screen. So here there is one sample goal that created, and every goal that we create can be of specific categories, whether it's a financial goal in the company, or it is internal business process improvement related, or your own self-learning and growth related. Like this, we can have different categories. So whenever I create a goal on the screen, system helps me with. So here, this is a way we have an option where we can create the goals. So each and every goal that you are creating has a category in which you can choose whether the goal that you are creating is a financial goal or internal business process related, whatever categories, and we can even customize that. We can even customize that goals. Now we can customize these categories, and you can enter the name of the goal. So what is your target or the goal, whatever you are setting for this year, you can enter it. And metric, how do you measure that? For example, if it's a sales goal, you measure it in like USDs, as like how many dollars of revenue generated. USD is your metric of measurement. If it's a manufacturing industry, the number of units of production is the metric of measurement. That way, how do you measure the goal is what the metric you can have. And you can have the date range, in which date range it has to be achieved, the status, whether it is currently started working or you are not started, lagging behind, you have completed working on it, kind of different statuses. Like this, we'll have several fields that we can fill in and create a goal. So this interface of goal creation with what all fields you see is also something definitely configurable, guys. SF will be giving us some standard commonly used fields. You can delete them, you can add more additional fields. It's up to you, you can customize. And all the goals, whatever we create, will appear on the screen under the respective categories, whether they are the financial related goals or they are learning and growth or any other different categories. You can have other also as a category. So once I create a goal, if I am a manager and if I'm having a team under me, and if I want my team also to take part of this goal, I can cascade goals. On the right hand top corner, we have a cascading as a functionality where I can ask my team to take part of this goal, and they have to take a responsibility of a certain quantity of goal. For example, if the goal is created for some 1 crore as a target, so 20 lakhs is what I can give as a portion of the target to one of my subordinate, so that he has to work for 20 lakhs. There's one more subordinate who has to work for 30 lakhs, and I will work for the remaining 50 lakhs. All three of us collectively, we are going to deliver the goal. So like that, cascade goal is a button where system will give you the list of goals. So I have two goals here, sample goal and increase sales as two goals. So whichever goal I can select, and when I click on next, it will show me my list of subordinates. So this user Anya Singh is currently having four subordinates under her, demo user, like this, four subordinates. To whomever she wants to cascade that goal, she can select that person and click on next. And while you're assigning the goal, if you want to change the contents of the goal, you can click on edit. And the goal which was initially created for the manager herself, the example, the target initially was say 1 crore. So if you, out of this, if you want to give only 20 lakhs to the subordinates, so you can like this. So 20 lakhs of target has been given to that particular subordinate to whom we are giving it. So initially the manager level, it might be 1 crore, but while we're giving to the subordinate, the target number is what we can change. So the subordinate is not expected to work on the entire 1 crore. A share of it is what it is given to them. That way, and we can click on next and we can cascade the goal. Click on next finally. Now this goal is going to be cascaded to this person when you click on it. That way, you can create a goals for yourself as an employee, and if you are a manager, you can cascade a goal to your subordinate and you can ask them to also work along with you on the goals. That way we have different options. So this is at a high level to give you an introduction about the way how the goal setting process looks like and the features that we have. In detail, how does these features work, how are they enabled, what are the restrictions in them, permissions related to them, various things technically in detail we'll discuss down the line. Okay. Any queries to this point? Okay. Next thing is about also to have a look at the way how the performance process looks like. So here, let me open any one of the form and show you how the form looks like. So a performance form is going to definitely have an approval process connected to it, guys. Like first it starts with employee self-assessment, followed by manager's assessment, followed by one-to-one meeting with the between the employee and the manager as a one-to-one meeting that can happen. And then the rating, what has been already finalized at a manager level, that can go for a second level manager's review, and second level manager can also acknowledge it and say whether they can accept it or not. If the second level also accepted, then the final rating is released to the employee for his acknowledgement. Now, this is a process flow that has been designed, which is purely configurable. That's not something SAP is going to define it for us. Client can decide whatever process flow they want. So if they want to involve second manager or not, they want to involve HR anywhere. Currently, there is no HR involved anywhere. So if they want to bring in HR, that workflow is what we can configure. And in the performance form, when the review is going to happen, guys, the main contents will be the goals. The goals is what on which the feedback will be taken. And as I mentioned, the rating scale is what you can decide, whether it's a 3 scale or a 5 scale or a 10 rating scale, you can decide it. So the people whoever are involving the feedback process, they can give the ratings against each and every goal about based on the employee's performance, and they can also enter some comments. Like that, against each and every goal, they can give some rating, they can give their comments, what they feel. And also going down, you will have the competencies. As I mentioned, employees will also be evaluated on the competencies, which are nothing but the different kinds of uh, qualities that they exhibit in their day-to-day business activities. Like accepting responsibility is one of the important quality that they have to show. Communication skills. Next, they will have the way how they are delivering the quality of work, how they are managing the time, how they are managing the team, how are they prioritizing the work. Like this, different kinds of qualities are nothing but as competencies. So against the competencies also, there will be a rating and the comments option where the rating has to be collected. So based on the ratings that are being given against the goals, competencies, all that, system will generate the overall average and it will display us on the top. So now here on the top, there is 4.5 as overall rating that is being shown. So this is what based on the ratings that you have given against different sections, different goals and competencies, system will calculate an average and update here. On the top as a overall rating, it keeps showing us. Okay. And the competencies, whatever we are talking, guys, will be again of two types. One is the core values or the core competencies, and another one is role specific competencies. There are two different competency sections on the form. That is, those competencies which are commonly applicable for anyone in the organization, even a CEO or a clerk in the company, are definitely required to adhere to that particular competencies. Those are called core competencies. Like accepting responsibilities for everybody in the company. Next, communicating effectively is also a competency that everybody is going to be evaluated on. So these are core competencies. There can be some competencies specific to my role in the company. So if I'm a manager level, I have some competencies. If I'm a developer, a consultant, I have something. If I'm a HR, I have different competencies. If I'm a director, if I'm a CEO. So based on my role in the company, some competencies might differ. Those are referred as role specific competencies or job specific competencies, you can say. Role specific or job specific. That's a separate section which will differ person to person based on the job in which they are hired. But core competency section will be equal, same for everybody. That way, the competencies are separated into two types. So in this manner, we can have the goals and two different kinds of competencies that can be part of the performance review process. And finally, at the end of the form, you will have a summary section in which the ratings that are given against the goals will be shown up here. The ratings which are collected against the core competencies will be shown up here, and the role specific competencies also will be shown up here. So the ratings that you are giving against all of them, they are all averaged out, and final rating at the end of the form will be appearing here as a final overall rating of the form. That is a bit. And during the process of calculating the overall rating, how much importance to be given to the goals section, how much importance to be given to the core competencies, how much to the role specific competencies, like that you can divide it, summing up to 100%. 50 plus 20 plus 30. So in the process of deciding the overall rating, 50% we are depending on the employee rating, 50% on the goals rating, 20% of the core competencies, and 30% on the role specific competencies. That way, and these numbers can change. In some companies, they might say 70% is on goals and 15% for competencies. Or it can be reverse. only 30% on goals, 70% is on competencies. They can differ. So it depends upon organization to organization. We can align these percentages, how they want to do their calculation. So this way, a performance form will have different sections with different calculation requirements and with the different process flows, company to company, different approval process flows can be configured and customized, and we can have the performance reviews executed that will end up with a final year-end rating. And as I mentioned, these ratings can become the input for the compensation module or succession module, all that. Okay. So how do we design this form? With what all sections should be present on the form? So any custom sections to be added, all that we can do. Like here you see there is a section which is using for development opportunities. So what are the areas that the employee has to develop his skills is what we can record here. Strengths. Strengths is an area where employee is already doing good in that area. So if you want to highlight some areas which are already doing good, then that is strengths as an area. Like this, we can have different sections that we can record here. Okay, like this, custom sections can also be brought up, and we can make some attachments. So when employees are saying that he has achieved this much, he has achieved this, supporting documents of your attachments. If you want to add any documents, you can click on attachments and you can add here a plus icon and you can add the attachments. You can add multiple attachments for sure, but same point across SF anywhere. If you are adding a file, it should not be more than 5 MB. Any file size should be maximum 5 MB, guys. That is the way. Okay. So this is how the performance form looks like, and this will be almost around 1.5 week of discussions on the performance form template configuration we'll be looking at. And next thing is to give you a glance of how the calibration looks like. As I told, calibration is all about forced change of ratings to meet some internal budgeting of the company, internal guidelines in the company. Let me show the UI of it. How does it look like? So this is how the calibration screen looks like, guys, where it will be concentrating on, now you have a scale of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rating. So the highest rating is called extraordinary, outstanding, next meets expectation, like this. The basic rating is unsatisfactory. Now there are people who have got rating 3 out of 5 are all listed here. People who have got 5 out of 5 are listed here. Like the system is showing them. And we can set some guidelines that in an organization, not more than 20% should be in rating 5, not more than 30% should be in rating 4. Like that, we can have a percentages set across the rating scales. In rating 5 out of 5, maximum how much per population can be. In rating 4, in rating 3, in rating 2, how many people can be there? You can set some guidelines. So when according to the percentages guidelines that we set, if the number of people in this rating are more or less, it system will give you a recommendation of how many people to be added or removed from that bucket. Now, according to meet the internal setup that has been done, the internal guidelines that was set, from this 5 out of 5 rating, extraordinary rating, 6 people are to be removed from this. And in the rating 3, you can still add 9 people into this. According to the guideline requirements, we are still open to add 9 people in this. That way, so you can remove the people from one area and you can place them into another area. You can do that by simple drag and drop. You can select the people and you can drag them. Now I selected 2 people. It's called subjects. So 2 subjects is where I'm dragging and dropping to the complete rating 1. I drop them here. That way, the rating has been changed. The rating in their form will be completely changed when I finally click on save. So with a simple drag and drop, the head of the departments or even senior management level people can change the ratings of the people easily with this drag and drop. But the main decision making will involve, now when you say 6 people are to be removed from here, 3 people are to be removed from here, among the multiple people who are there, which 3 I have to select? Which 3 people I have to remove is what a decision that comes at a management level. So here the tool is not going to do all that. That's where you should find the reasons why you should increase or decrease. So whom you are doing it is what it's a call. This product is going to help you. The calibration tool is going to help you to achieve that forceful change of ratings. That is the main point. Okay, but whom you are going to change is your business call. So there might be different reasons, different recommendations from the head of the departments, the managers and all that can all be taken as a part of the calibration configuration. We'll see whom all you can involve in the calibration decision making. How do you add them into the calibrations? All that also we'll see. So but this is the main usage of it to drag and drop and change the ratings. So that will impact on the overall form rating of the employee. Okay. Yeah, Hemant.
Yeah. Are we able to like move like bulk employee? Like, is there any method?
Bulk?
Like in bigger organization, or we need to drag and drop only?
So this is a view that will help you for visualization to understand how many people are in which bucket, and usually this is what generally people will like to have. Just general upload is something you definitely have it, but before you upload it, you need to visualize how many people are in five according to guideline, how many people are more than that, less than that. First, they will definitely come here and visualize, and mostly they can just select the people, multiple people, and they can drag and drop multiple at a time. Not a problem. They can still do it. But if they decided to do it out of this application, we have an upload process. I can say for employee number so and so, what is our rating? Employee number so and so, what is the rating? I can prepare an Excel sheet and then upload. That is also something possible, and we'll even see that ratings upload process.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And generally, if it's a bigger organizations, for your question, like even thousands of employees and all, we don't do it on entire organization wide at a time, guys. They'll break it down into different groups, like department wise. IT department, entire on the IT department level, one calibration. On the entire finance department employees, one calibration. They break it down in such a way, like they have this 500, 600 employees, small chunks of bunches. Even if it's a company with 10,000 employees, they break it down into department wise and they can do it. So end of the day, in each department level, if you meet the guideline, overall the organization guideline is indirectly met anyways. Okay.
Yeah.
Next, Shalini.
Yeah, Shiva, Shali here. So suppose if we break it down to the department, so department like there are n numbers of department as well.
Right.
So suppose for in the HR function there are several department like TA, talent management, and everything,
That's a
etc.
division.
That's a division. Then
division.
the control is being central for the whole HR, or if they wanted to divide into the further drill down also, that we can also do.
Absolutely, you can do. So who should be doing this calibration process? Like for all the functions of HR, the one person, the head of the HR, is only going to deal with all the calibration groups. Even that is possible. You can maintain the same person as the owner for different calibration sessions. In everything, he is going to be the decision maker. If you want to make it in one single session or 10 different sessions, you can definitely do it. Okay.
Okay. Okay, understood.
Sounds good. So this is about the calibration, guys. And next thing, I would like to give you a quick glance of continuous performance. As I told, it's a tool that will make it open, a channel open for you around the clock, 365 days, so that you can keep on updating what all activities you're working on and the progress of it to your manager. So currently I'm in the login of Anya Singh. So her activities that she is working with Charles Brown as a manager. So what she has to update her manager. So all the working on items she has listed here. So any items that she needs help, we can list here. Which item she has already completed. She initiated it, she also completed. Like this, different statuses you can keep them on hold, different things. So here you have an activity of option of creating an activity, guys. So goals, what we created in the goal management is different from activity. So in a year, you might be given with say 5 goals. For a year, you might be given with 5 different goals. That doesn't mean that you're just working on 5 items across the year. To achieve that 5 goals, you will be taking lot of activities, lot of tasks. You will be delivering different projects, different activities, different meetings, presentations. You will have a lot of things you do. For each and everything, you can create an activity here. Okay. So whatever is that, say example, you are doing a client presentation. Okay. So you can create an activity for that. So please mute your device, Shalini. Yeah, so here activity is where I can record like what is that like, client presentation, for what purpose we are doing the presentation. I can describe it and the status currently, whether I'm working on it or I need some help like this, we can keep some status. And this activity, whatever I'm creating, is that related to any particular goal that has been allocated to me this year. So the list of all my goals of this year can come in the drop down and I can connect my activity to a particular goal. I can say that this activity I'm doing this I'm working on this activity as a part of achieving this particular goal that has been allocated to me this year. That way I can connect with the respective goals. And any supporting documents, attachments to be added, all this can be done. So this way you will have different activities creation option, and against that activity, now I give example here, I have a project implementation as an activity. Clicking on it, I can keep updates posted here, activity update. So like every 15 days, I want to make sure what is the status of the project that we are implementing. You can keep updating, update 1, update 2. You can keep on posting your updates so that whoever your manager, whoever is looking into these activities, they can have a clarity of what's happening. Like you decide whether you want to do it a weekly update or bi-weekly update, something. Every time they have an update with what date you have given this latest update, they'll have a clarity. And on this particular activity that you're working, if you want to request a feedback from people, what do they think about your the way how we are working on it, you can click on request feedback. And from whom you want to take a feedback, you can choose that. So system will suggest you some people in your hierarchy level. Apart from that, if you want to randomly select any other person also, you can search for. So from whichever person you want to take the feedback, you can select their name. On what topic you want to take the feedback, you can give the topic, and on that you can also frame your questions. So 3 standard questions will be there. So on that particular topic, what went well, what could I improve, any other comments. These are the standard questions. If they want to change it, this is not what they want to ask, they want to have a different question, they can change it. But maximum 3 questions is what you can have. You can have your required questions on respective topic, with what context you are going to take the feedback, and you can send the request that will go to this person, Emilio. He can respond it on it. So that way, feedback process is one also available. So these are the various things that we see across the module of PMGM in our next 1 month of discussions, all these 5 different components. The 360-degree evaluations thing is something it's too early to now discuss. You will not be remembering by that time. So when we start the topic anyways, at a time I'll show you the UI of it and all, which is 80% almost the same like performance management, with a slight difference that instead of depending on only the upper hierarchy, I can also get the feedback from my colleagues, my lower level people like my subordinates, from client who is out of the organization, from different people, we can get the feedback. So this is an overview of what is this PMGM module all about, for what purpose we use, what are the different components in it, how do the screens look like, all this high level information. And from tomorrow we get into our config sessions, where it starts with the goal management. The first 1 week of discussions will go on the goal management. How do we set up the goals? How do we configure the different requirements across goals? And followed by the performance management that goes for easily 1.5 week minimum, followed by these topics like that. Okay. Any queries, anyone till this point?
Hi Shiva, can we create goal with different categories? One goal with different categories, or one goal with one category?
Goal will have one category.
Okay.
Only one goal can at any point of time can have only one category.
Okay.
Okay. So when you're creating a goal, you have that category as a drop down. So whether that is a financial goal or it is an internal business process improvement goal. So what kind of a goal, you can choose the category against a goal.
Okay. So is it possible to assign 2-3 goals to one single employee?
Of course, right?
Yeah.
That's what you can have 5 goals or 10 goals in a year. This current page, if you see, this person is already having 2 goals. one is under financial category, one is under this other as a category. So how many goals that we can have in a year is what a validation that we can set in a company. Like minimum, a person should have minimum 3 goals in a year that he should work, maximum 7 goals in a year that he should work. That way we can even control the validations as well, so that when they are setting more than that number, it will stop. Even if they don't set that minimum number also, it will give them a validation that you are yet to set one more, or you are yet to set 2 more, kind of. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So one more thing. So if I have 5 goals, these 5 goals can be linked to performance management, right? Performance form.
Yeah, everything what is in your goal sheet, when you launch a performance form, they all will automatically reflect on the performance form. So the goals what are set to you in the starting of the year will be evaluated in the mid of the year-end review. They'll automatically be part of the form.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah. Next we have Teja.
Yeah, hi Suresh, good morning.
Hi, morning.
Actually, I'm new to this module. I want to know what exactly, as a PMGM consultant, what we do, what is the work we do here?
Sure, definitely. Can you let me know, are you in the session from beginning or you joined late?
No, I have joined from the beginning.
Very good. So as I introduced initially, performance management is a module all about the way how the employees' targets will be given in the starting of the year, and later on the way how the performance feedback will be collected on the employees' performance. So for that processes, the screens is what we configure. Now this is a screen I told you the goals will be set, and you will be able to create a goal by filling some details like the name of the goal is what you will fill in, the category of the goal, the metric, some dates, all this. A end user will fill all this and create a goal. So we as a consultant will configure the screen. What all fields should be on the screen while people are going to create a goal is what I configure.
Okay, as
Okay.
per the client's configuration, we have to fill all this, configure all these details.
Yes, according to the client's requirement. So which fields they've asked us to have on the screen. They say I don't want this status field remove it, or they ask me one more custom field to add it, to make a field mandatory, non-mandatory, different kinds of things. Similarly, in the performance process, you saw a workflow, a step-by-step process flow. So that process flow, client to client, it will differ. Everybody will not have the same process flow. So first employee does the assessment, then it goes to manager, then one-to-one meeting. This is also something client to client, it will differ. We will configure it. Okay. So that config parts is what we'll get started from tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
Perfect, guys.
Shiva, one more question, Shiva. Shiva, if I create one goal for individual, one goal for entire organization, so is it possible in this way to create?
Anything, end of the day, any goal you say, organization goal or individual goal, will definitely come to the employee screen only. So if it's an organizational goal, it's present on every employee screen. If it's an individual goal, it's present in only your screen. That's it. That is the only difference. End of the day, it's coming to here. And if it's an organizational goal that should be applicable to everyone, we can upload, mass upload.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other queries, gentlemen?
Hi Suresh, this is Kalyan. I have a small query from my side.
Please, Kalyan.
Can last year goals be again be given to the employees? Like, say, if to take a project which is running for 2 years, and the specific employee has been set a goal in the last financial year, and the project is also running for this year, so the same goals be again be given to him?
Yeah, that's what as I told you this previously also. When you're creating a goal, you have an option to copy from the previous year. So copy from goal plan is where when you click on this, it will show you the previous years in the drop down. Like you want to copy from 2022, 2021, like whatever previous year plans, you can select that. In that previous year, whatever are the goals that you have, it will show up and you can select them. Okay. So here I selected one goal plan. What are my goals in that last year? I can choose them and I can click on next and I can copy into this year. That is possible.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Suresh. Thanks for clarifying my doubt.
No problem. Fine, guys. So this is all for now. And as mentioned, from tomorrow, we will start looking into the goal management configurations. Thank you, one and all. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Sharish.